started my career as a Kafka engineer and DevOps engineer together. So I run into that blocker and I almost gave up on learning technical skills like learning DevOps. At the course of my career, I was thinking, what do I do to impact on the community, like help young folks be able to also become like a skilled technical person. So I created a kind of an application that leverages on Docker containers. Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. Let me give you a back story of how I started my career as a Kafka engineer and just discuss a little bit about the projects that I just worked on and why I think it's very impactful to the community. So I started my career as a Kafka engineer and DevOps engineer together. I actually started as a DevOps engineer, and then I got to fall in love with Kafka, Apache Kafka using Confluent, and it was interesting. So I started off taking a course on DevOps engineering, and while it was quite interesting, I ran into a roadblock, and this is a common roadblock for many young fellows out there. So first off, I had a difficulty actually creating cloud service account like AWS. My bank card at the time could not open such an account. It was declined. I'm from Nigeria, so it's actually not something that our banks are able to work with. So I could not open AWS account, and that kind of slowed my pace of learning because you need to create like EC2 instance on AWS. You need to create EKS clusters to do your practice. You want to spin up a Jenkins. You want to create Jenkins. You have to log into servers and create Jenkins and kind of study CI/CD pipelines. Also like IAC tools like Terraform. If you want to do those Ansibles, if you want to do those, you have to kind of work with cloud service providers. So I run into that blocker and I almost gave up on learning technical skills like learning DevOps. So I had this friend who was in Canada at the time, and he had an AWS account, and I had to beg him saying, please could you create a user for me, and once in a while I could go in there to run some tests, and which he was gracious. He was very gracious, and then he created a user for me, and I got access to his AWS account once in a while, and yeah, that was how I got to do some practice. But then I was kicked out shortly after because well, I was provisioning like resources like EKS clusters, and those are pretty expensive even if you just run it for like a couple hours, right? So it's pretty expensive, and before you know it, cost was skyrocketing, and so after I did learn a lot, so I had to like not use it any longer, but then I got like a lot of knowledge from that. So this gives me an idea that there are a lot of people who wants to learn this thing, they want to learn, but then they face these many blockers. So I, over the course of my career, I was thinking, what do I do to impact on the community, like help young folks be able to also become like a skilled technical person in the aspect of back end, not just software development, right? Just front end, back end, whatever you want to do, but then access to resources. So I created a kind of an application that leverages on Docker containers. So you want to work with virtual machines like EC2 instance and the rest. You have that. Like you can spin up Ubuntu Docker container and then be able to have that alternative to use and learn Linux commands. You can create a Jenkins server in the Ubuntu Docker image. And also you want to work with Jenkins, there Jenkins Docker container. So this is like not a lot of people know about this, especially for the young folks. They would love to have a kind of like a centralized system of provisioning these applications so that they can actually begin to practice. Like Docker is not the first thing you learn when you're starting off your career as a DevOps engineer or a Kafka engineer. So first off, you want to learn Linux, Linux command, those basics, fundamentals of Linux. So you can tell a newbie to now spin up Docker containers. They wouldn't know what Docker even is. It's actually quite a hard and complicated concept to grasp as first when I was getting introduced to Docker and Kubernetes, containerization and all. So this application puts it in a centralized login that looks like AWS, and then you could spin up those servers and then work with it. So yeah, let's get right into it, and I will show you the interface and show you what it looks like. So this is what I'm talking about. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and it's going to be fun, and we're going to be doing a lot of technical projects that are going to be hands-on projects whereby you know what to do step by step and you know how to do it. You don't need to go many YouTube videos. It's going to be step by step, and I'm going to do a pretty good job explaining in details. You're going to understand what you're doing. So yeah, let's get right into it.